they not acknowledge like, oh shit. Like we said he wasn't gonna do it because it was fucked up. But now he's doing it. Now we're gonna ignore he's doing it and just move on. And every time somebody say something about it, we're gonna call it TDS. Like we're gonna say they're just deranged because they're calling out exactly what they said was gonna happen. That's because they're calling out. Now they are deranged somehow. It's crazy. Like they don't want to. They don't want to talk about the points of what he's doing. They want to just talk about. They diagnose somebody with derangement syndrome, opposed to talk about the actual points, all the fucked up shit he's doing, attacking universities, attacking law firms, attacking the media, attacking the American people, tariffs, attacking the judicial system. Executive overreach, damn near eliminated the legislative branch. Like the shit he's doing is unfucking precedented. And everyone they want to act like it's just okay. It's not okay. Like he fucking give ICE $100 billion and another $50 billion for detention centers, not add not one judge for deportation. I mean, he wants to put people in detention centers. He's not trying to deport them. Like everything he's doing is just fucked up. It's Hitler-like. It very is. Like I don't see how everyone can't see it.
So can I chime in on this? Because Keeman and I are in completely different camps. First off, for those of you attacking XG, he brings up some valid points, and we do have to contend with that in the conservative circles, the Republican circles. They are valid, and he's also not what you would call a libtard or a Democrat. Forget what political alignment he has, but it's not anywhere near what the Democrats do. Akima, see, that's where it goes right off the rails. You call him Hitler-esque, Hitler-like. Trump is not rounding up people. I mean, we have had presidents that rounded up people based on ethnicity and culture. It's FDR, one of the most celebrated presidents on the Democrat side. You know, the one that fundamentally changed the country's economic abilities, built an entire program of massive wealth redistribution, oversaw a lot of bullshit and policies, some good, some a lot bad, that turned out to be harmful and without any forethought. He made intern camps and locked up people for just being Asian. That's kind of the stance on it. We can go further back and look at other historical presidents, the Trail of Tears, the founding of the Democrat Party, Andrew Jackson. That was kind of bathed in blood. You can fast forward to today. Clinton, the policy that you despise so much, was actually cheered on, championed by Democrats, including Bill Clinton. He put it into plan right away. He wanted this power to rest with the president. Democrats afforded this policy. They did not want immigration. So when you do have Trump saying, hey, I'm building detention centers and I'm deporting people that are here illegally, okay, but that power was asked for and granted by not only Congress, but it was given to President Bill Clinton. And Bush wielded it, Obama fucking wielded the shit out of it, and not the same smoke. But then you apply the label to Hitler to just Trump. And if your issue is that Trump's deporting people and he's sending ICE, well then you have to have smoke. Because even under Biden's term, even though he opened the floodgate in his last year, he was ramping up deportations. He was trying to show people to win an election that he was tough on the border because immigration was such a hot topic issue. He made fucking massive ways to try to show people he was tough on the border and was going and targeting people with ICE. And this hyperbole that you give that he's Hitler, and I don't know why you guys can't see it, then you literally have to say that we have been ran by Hitlers since the country's foundation. And I don't believe that. I don't think anybody believes that. I don't think anyone here is in comparison to Hitler or Pol Pot or Zing or any of the other horrific, or Stalin, any of these fucking characters in history. Trump is not murdering people. He is not fucking rounding up people and putting them in fucking camps to do labor work and fucking do that. He's deporting. And again, the incredulity of it. I mean, you would have the smoke for Pritzker, who put illegal immigrants and housed them for fucking 3 years in a warehouse in the shitty fucking district of Chicago, and who put thousands of people in there where they had asbestos and problems and mold and all of that shit. It didn't bother to actually build a facility. but you don't have that smoke. So when you come out and say he's Hitler, what is that? What are conservatives looking at? Because all we see is that you are just talking bullshit at this point and hyperbole, and you have absolutely no understanding or credence to the matter you have. If you want to talk immigration, I think we should. We should have the nuance. But just starting with Trump as Hitler, that wins you no more. And I'm with the Trump MAGA supporters, I'm with Republicans, and I'm with conservatives. I don't think that you should be privy to the conversation. And that's how I look at it. Anybody who starts with Trump as Hitler, I immediately dismiss.
Hey, bro, the problem with what you just did was like you narrowed everything I said, and I said he's attacking universities, he's attacking law firms. I gave a whole list of the things he's doing, and you narrowed down to immigration and try to give a parallel from other presidents, and ignored all those other things. Like if he was just doing the immigration thing, then of course he's not Hitler. But when you add the other things he's doing, going after the media, the judges, basically sidelining Congress. Let's be for real. And you say he's not rounding up people. He's about to. What do you think he's getting $45 billion for detention centers for? Because he's going to round people up. It's not me making this up. It's him doing it. And then, like I said, everyone agreed that Project 2025 was a problem. Everybody say it's not his thing, but now he's doing it. Y'all don't want to address the fact that he's doing it. And everybody thought it was a problem, but now he's doing it, now it's okay somehow.
So Project 2025, Trump had his own thing. It was Trump 45, or whatever, 47. He had his own agenda. He laid it out there. And Project 2025, if you actually read it, has some good ideas. Oddly enough, it's ideas that Democrats have cheered on. As recently as 3 months ago, they've taken ideas. Even Fetterman has espoused similar ideas. Who's getting ostracized by the left? You talked about universities. We're aware of prior presidents doing this and manipulating universities, utilizing funds, weaponizing funds for each of those. We could go through that list. And there's been a historic problem with colleges getting guaranteed funding for students so they can increase their tuition costs, their education costs, even though they're offering subpar education on many of these, quote, universities that everybody is so concerned of. You're not worried about the quality of education. You're more worried about the fact that Trump is calling them out. And he can. He can say, hey, you're politically biased. You're giving these kids a one-sided education. You're not really preparing them for the real world. You're more or less imposing your ideals upon these young minds who need to go out into the United States and make it better. No. Instead of growing rocket scientists, doctors, lawyers, etc., we're growing political activists and Instagram models. And then we have to import people from other nations to actually fill the gaps in which we needed staff and the fucking arts. Like we're having to import people to do this. So yes, there's criticism there. I could have gone down that list. What else did you say? The Project 2025, I think we covered that. That one's been put to bed. And there's plenty of foundations that exist around DC that have printed up pamphlets to say, here's what Democrats have. The Democrat playbook right now that's being orchestrated about gerrymandering is another example of like every side has action-packed committees that are freaking putting forth pamphlets to go ahead and say, this is the plan we should have. Democrats had it with I'm with her campaign during Hillary's campaign. It's no different. And so, again, your articulation of the argument and not really getting down to the substance, it's just high level. I'm not coming at you a certain way. I'm just saying there's no room for you and I to have a discussion on the nuance of the policy because you immediately started with Hitler. He's rounding up people. He's giving funding for immigrant. Colleges are under attack. And what else was it? The 2025. That's it. Those are the three arguments. None of that really provides any nuance. And you say he's Hitler.
How did I start with Hitler? When I got in the conversation, it was already about him compared to Hitler. I didn't start at Hitler. I just reinforced the argument. So don't say I started with Hitler, therefore we can't have a conversation. That's not where I started. I started with the conversation, bro.
I can do it. With no corrective action necessary, no criticism necessary. Just let the universities be the universities, right?
You can definitely criticize. You can criticize. You can try to get more people hired there. You know what I'm saying? You can protest. You know what I'm saying? But to make it like it's a government issue and Trump should be intervening and talking about taking university endowments and crazy shit like that. No, that should not be going on at all.
So, Benson, can I jump in this real quick? So that's where you're going to lose the argument, because again, Trump's taking back federal taxpayer money. Because again, if a college is going to preach one way and force ideals onto a moldable mind, and only that way, and not really educate them for the world, not really provide anything of substance outside of underwater basket weaving degrees, then I don't want my tax dollars going to it. I think a whole plethora of people are like, nah, no, we're not going to fund this. And quite frankly, I think colleges have been funded too hard. They rely on endowments, they rely on grants, they rely on subsidies, they rely on state, county, and federal fucking money from taxpayers in order to exist. Meanwhile, they balloon their tuition to a massive increase for a decreased quality product, and then have teachers force students to buy books that, quite frankly, let's be honest, a lot of those books are substandard and biased in one way or another. They don't really articulate true history. They don't really articulate anything there. And they're not really like something that I think is going to benefit society, because the professor had some collab or get some kickback or wrote the fucking book themselves. So now they get to charge the kid $1,000 for the books. So yeah, I could critique the system. If you're taking tax dollars, federal tax dollars, and tax money to a university, it is no longer private. It is no longer an ability for people to say, hey, well, we shouldn't. And all Trump did was say, hey, I'm going to end your federal siphon from the government, and now you have to exist on your own. And all of a sudden, it's a big deal. So if these colleges are so great, there's nothing to worry about. Why are they so dependent on me as a taxpayer when I don't agree with what they're teaching? They're not producing the best product. Why would I even fucking invest in that?
Hey, Brad, the point you just made, because you say because they got federal dollars, they're no longer private. That means nobody's private, because everybody's getting some federal dollars somehow. I mean, tell that to the banks and the auto companies. They're no longer private because they get bailed out by the taxpayers. Like, tell that to the farmers who get subsidies. Tell that to the poor people. You're no longer independent no more. You get welfare, so therefore the government owns you now. Like, come on, be for real. Be for real, bro.
Wait, is every student loan that's applied for backed by the U.S. government? Every student that goes to college and they apply for it, do I, as a taxpayer, along with millions of others and everyone in this room, now on the hook to back that child? Again, it doesn't matter. Like, at the end, I have a right then. My tax dollars are going to pay for colleges. They're guaranteeing the money. They're giving the money to the colleges. The kids end up in debt. They're backing the loans. Personally, I think in order to collapse the system, I wouldn't even send my kid to an Ivy League school. I wouldn't send my kid to one of these top-tier schools, because, quite frankly, the return value on it, most of these colleges, if you actually start researching, the return for money spent doesn't show up in a lot of these schools that are getting massive fucking program dollars, and they're getting back. So, again, right here, if you want to make college completely free market where they have to compete with each other, then fine. I'm with you. You can have a left-leaning school. You can have a conservative school. You can have a Marxist school. Have whatever fucking school you want to. But the minute you start asking for taxpayer money in multiple ways, then all of a sudden I get to critique what's being spent with my money.
I want to say something complimentary, if I can. We went from Hakima was, for lack of everything, he had a long, high-level list of everything that Trump has done wrong and is doing wrong in Hakima's view. And I'm not accusing you of Trump derangement syndrome, but it sure echoed what we generally think of. But look what happened. We got off of this vague, high level, everything he's doing is wrong, and I just heard a pretty good back and forth about education, where Hakima and Brad had a conversation about education. They disagree with each other, but at least we got down to something of substance rather than this high level arm waving, screaming and yelling about everything Trump does is deranged, wrong, etc. When we get down to the specifics, then we start to have a much better conversation rather than, Trump is whatever. So, well done for having a good conversation coming off the high level argument that everything Trump does is wrong and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's a little bit of progress. And so thank you, Hakima and Brad, for doing that.
Aye, sir.
I certainly didn't mean to shut down the conversation in the room by giving two guys a well done for having a reasonable conversation.
You know, the longer you talk about Trump derangement syndrome, the more deranged it will get. You know, it's basically polarization, fixation, and duration. It's like creating a candle and the moths just go to the flame. And a lot of the content creators on this app will run TDS rooms for hours, weeks, months, years. It's what they personally get their dopamine from. It's my opinion. It's called TDS.
Well, if that's true and that's the way it works, then why wouldn't we create an awareness campaign and an acronym and bring attention and wave our arms to something that would matter? Something like the number 37 trillion, for example.
That's more accurately described as ADS. That's American derangement syndrome. So that's called ADS. But I like to call liberal, Democrat, socialist, populists. That's another acronym I came up with. Liberal, Democrat, socialist, populists. That's LDSP. LDSP, liberal, Democrat, socialist, populist. I'm describing words that I hear in politically correct. I have heard that term repeated over and over and over again. Liberal, Democrat, socialist, populist.
I would jump from that. That's also Latter-day Saints.
One of the things I'm loving about these rooms is how when we throw a poll up, how balanced they are. I think every poll that we've done, we've found, whether it's three choices, they'll have equal representation typically on the three options. Here we have two options, and the vote is completely split. I think that this is proving to create a space, and the dialogue between Hakima and Brad is a good example of it, where people can be heard that completely disagree with each other, and so give everybody a pat on the back, because the Rational Discussion Group was formed out of the lack of this type of conversation, and so finally we've got a space where people can come together, where they have these disagreements, and they can talk about them as adults. And we leave the chat open so people can participate there as well. We would never ask people to download Facebook in order to participate in chat. Thank you.
I love your effort, Roger, with the debt. I think you need to keep it up. I think eventually it'll start resonating with people, but I don't think it's going to happen this term. But in terms of like the Trump language, I mean, right now we're in the midst of an optic culture war. That's the best I can see. There's a lot of people that want to stick to their side of the fence and think there's a better way forward. Maybe. I disagree with it. I think Trump has authoritarian tendencies, and he will tap into those. But to be fair to the guy, he's utilizing powers that were given to him by Congress. So every time I hear something that is not liked, I have a case in history. I have an exact point in a very similar situation. And I mean, I think we should bring in people who have been in the Situation Room. I don't know if you guys know her. Maybe you can bring her back. But, across 3 administrations, these decisions are being made. But what I don't understand is that when these decisions were done under Biden or Obama or Bush or Clinton or Reagan, nobody has that same smoke. I don't think FDR is a great president. I would never think that. A, he ushered in the nuclear bomb age. B, he deterred people. C, he was all for segregation. In fact, his opposition to the park system was to make sure that there were segregated facilities for whites and black people and all other races. He wanted that. It was a Republican by the name of Hickey that said, "Go fuck yourself. You won't get another fucking dime if you don't approve the way we want to go ahead." Which is why you don't have segregation in the national park system. It never existed. So, FDR has never been somebody I looked at. He financially put us on an economic downward trend. He got lucky in the war, because the war, World War II, is actually what boosted our freaking economy and basically destroying half of the world so that they couldn't compete with us. If Democrats really want to go down this pathway of how Trump is destroying it, why not call out the shit that it's actually done? We've had a president drone strike an American citizen without due process. That has existed. Nobody talks about that shit. We just got through a pandemic where we interred elderly people in nursing home, saying, "Hey, here's a neat way to save Social Security. We'll just throw infected people in there with them." Like, we had that happen, and no accountability for that. And no one wants to talk about it, but it goes right to January 6th. I can promise you, everything will circle back to January 6th, as if that was the most pivotal moment in our country's history.
So wait, you don't think that the drone strike on that American Islamic jihadist trader wasn't appropriate?
100% against it. That American was not afforded due process of rights. That American citizen is a U.S. citizen, and I have an issue when we violate American citizens and we put other political ideals ahead of it. I'm pissed off that we are prioritizing illegal immigrants above situations that exist currently in this country with homelessness. Like, as a start, how about fentanyl doses, overdoses? We're prioritizing everything else but our own people. Trump is right on this one, John. It should be America first. It should be Americans first. That's who it should be. I'm happy with all of you people in other nations. Hats off to you. Be proud of your nation. But I stand for the red, white, and blue with the 50 stars and the 13 stripes. And I love absolutely everything about this country, from the diverse people to the cultures to the land to from coast to coast. And I have traveled a good chunk of this. And it is one of the most beautiful, diverse places you can find on the planet. And I'm telling you what, I'm for this country succeeding for the next 10,000 years ahead of everybody else. And the rest of you, either hitch your wagons to the back or go your separate ways. I wish you the best of luck, but I want my nation to succeed, and I want all my Americans to succeed.
Yeah, Brad, to that point, that's one thing about these TDS folks. It's really strange. When you say America first, they get triggered. They have, I couldn't quite wrap my head. Well, I've long understood the term bleeding heart liberal, but it truly made sense when I started seeing liberals crying and falling out over the immigration issue. And when we saw politicians just recently or judges being arrested for trying to harbor politicians in their home, getting arrested trying to infiltrate, ICE detention centers. You haven't seen liberal leaders go this hard for their own citizens, but they are crying and falling out over non-Americans, and they seem to have an issue with Americans putting America first. That needs to be a case study. I'm done.
And now the problem is, like, Trump. Like what?
Wait, Akira, you broke up. You broke up. What'd you say?
I said the problem is, like, Trump say America first, but his actions don't show America first. Like what he's doing is not putting America first. Like, it's like even when he bombed Iran, some people may agree with it, but that wasn't America first at all. So like it's like what he's doing is not America first. Like going after the media, the universities, the judge is like as if his opinion matters most. Like what he says goes. Like same thing like what's going on in DC now. He want to put the National Guard there because crime is out of control, but the numbers don't say that. But because he says so. That's that authoritarian in him, like because what he said. When he talk about spending money, he like I gave this person that money. He act like this money is his money to give. Like he literally act like he's a fucking king or something. And he's not. But people are letting him get away with it, and he may well be very soon.
But my thing is this though, I'll say it quickly. We've already survived 4 years of Trump. So what, and this is not directed towards you, Hakima, but if you want to respond, you can. We've already survived 4 years of Trump, and literally we survived. America didn't fall, right? Trump's policies during his first term did not destroy America, did not destroy the economy, and it really, if I dare say, did not topsy-turvy the lives of the average American. So what do we think is going to be so different about this term? I mean, do we really think that by the time he leaves the White House, America will no longer exist? Because I don't. And for the record, I also don't think, because a lot of liberals, black liberals especially, are under this impression that according to Project 2025, he's going to come and round us all up and put us in detention centers and ship us off to Nigeria, et cetera, et cetera. I wish we could put to bed that talking point as well, because that's not going to happen.
I can probably say what's not going to happen. I'm not saying that he said what you just said, but to say what's not going to happen, like it's crazy when he positioned himself to do a lot of shit. Like he's right in the position to take this a lot of different directions. So to say that what's not going to happen is like it's kind of tough on my ears to really say what's not going to happen, because like. If he's nothing else, he's unpredictable. And if he has shown nothing else, he's shown that he's willing to push the Constitution to its limits.
I'll say this quickly, Hakima, and I feel very confident in my last point that Black Americans are not going to be rounded up and shipped out of the country or put in alligator Alcatraz. I feel confident in that. And if you feel like that is a possibility, then maybe we need to unpack that a little bit more separately in another room, because I'm curious to know your position on that. Thank you.
I ain't say that was particularly going to happen, shipped out the country, none of that, but he's definitely making a play to round up black people. Like he said it, and not in Project 2025, in Agenda 47, he said it. He talked about rounding up the gang members. I know who you are. We're going to come round you up. He literally said it out of his own mouth. But So to say what he's not the deportation part, but rounding them up, like with no particular crime, but he definitely said it.
We've got, as I look at the stage, I only see Hakima and XG, who have very, very strong, almost universal negative opinions of Trump, but I'm still going to ask this question to the room. Name one thing for any progressives. Name one thing that you think Trump has done right in the last 6 months.
Education.
Okay, how about XG or Hakima? Hakima, can you pick anything, any single thing?
Give me 1 second answer. You like a minute and a half.
So you said one good thing Trump's done?
Yeah. Say it positive. I mean, try to be positive. Yeah, Trump got this one right. Can you suggest one thing, XG?